But how do you not know that this is done by a devil?
For the event to be happening. So we would know that this would have a high probability because everyone is saying.
No, I know I'm saying it could have happened. I'm not saying it did not happen. I'm saying how do you not know that this was done by the devil? This moon splitting, yeah.
Yeah, because there's high independent attestation of eyewitnesses saying that they've seen the moon split in half.
Did they see Allah?
Huh?
Did they see Allah?
They say Allah, no.
So how do you know what spiritual entity that did this? Because the Bible says that demons can perform signs and miracles in the clouds and skies. That's what the Bible is preaching. So how do you not know that this was done by the devil?
Because we're speaking to Islam only, so we're not going to the Bible because it's an entire critique on Islam, right?
Yeah, but I'm basing my thing based on the Bible because the Bible came before the Quran.
Yeah, but you're asking me as a Muslim, so I'm going to have to stick
Okay,
to you or to what I believe and asking me how I believe such. And I'm saying that because of the high independent attestation for the miracles for them to be happening under the Islamic commentary analysis, we can come to a conclusion that this event did happen through a secular methodology.
Okay, but you know what's kind of weird? What's kind of cool? The Bible, which came before the Quran, the Bible which had eyewitness accounts on Jesus Christ's life and story. The disciples who were with Jesus Christ, they received revelations, right, which they later down wrote. And they said that if a demon comes to you or proclaims another gospel, let them be accursed. For even demons can disguise themselves as the angel of light. And the Bible even says that in the book of Thessalonians, that demons is the prince of power of this world, and he can cause miraculous signs in the skies and stuff like that. So from my counter argument from that is that I believe that this moon splitting event was done by the devil, not by Allah.
But if it's done by the devil, then how could it have happened? And how are the eyewitnesses that back up the claim? And we have multiple eyewitnesses. We have a lot of reports which go back to the Sahaba and those who have seen the moon split.
Yeah, I'm saying because I believe it was done by the devil. So this thing that was shown to the Sahaba, the companions of Muhammad, was done by the devil, and this devil allowed the people of the world to see it.
Yeah, but you're saying I'm guessing 2 Corinthians or 1 Corinthians, where if an
Thessalonians. And the Corinthians, it says, I think the book of Galatians,
like
the Corinthians.
Previously a different gospel.
Yeah.
But
Either way, that's still circular reasoning as well, because a lot of people, right, a lot of Christians, we have eyewitness accounts on Jesus Christ's crucifixion, and we have the eyewitness accounts on Jesus Christ's resurrection as well. So like that circular reason, I'm like, okay, there's attestations to that. So why do you believe in that? Why do you hold to this to be accountable?
If we were to apply the same methodology used, I don't think it's possible to come to a conclusion that the eyewitnesses that saw the resurrection, that could go back to them.
Have you got any attestations of the Huwariyun of Isa?
Of Isa?
Yeah.
Attestation of Isa? I'm not too sure about that.
Have you got any so-called writings of the companions of Isa from the Quran preachers?
The Quran quotes them, but I don't know what the historical.
Because it says in Surah 355 and Surah 61:14 that there are certain so-called disciples of Isa, and I want to know, have you got any of these writings of Isa where I can know more about his life that you guys hold to, that the Quran is confirming?
I wouldn't know myself because I haven't looked at the history, but I can just make an argument from silence. We wouldn't need evidence for this.
Again, that's an argument from silence, then, isn't it? Yeah. But again, so why do you trust Muhammad if Muhammad came 600 years later, right? Why should I trust it in his beliefs rather than the disciples? When these disciples who saw Jesus Christ, they heard what he preached, they saw what he did, and then you have people like Apostle Paul who wrote the majority of the New Testament, and Apostle Paul saw the disciple of Jesus Christ. So if Apostle Paul, who you guys probably believe to be the founder of Christianity, if Apostle Paul saw the disciple of Jesus Christ, why can't I trust him? So why should I trust Muhammad, not the Apostle Paul?
Yeah, because I've said before, my proof is only based on the high attestation for the miracles, and I can show you the reports as well.
I'm not denying that. Okay, what about Muhammad? Okay, what makes him? So what about Muhammad's moral behavior? Like what moral things did he do that is worthy as a prophet?
I wouldn't go on proof as like if somebody does a moral thing, because morality within a religion will be justified under like criteria and stuff, or like things that they do, and if you see like it doesn't contradict what God's nature or what He commands, then it's fine.
So was it good that Muhammad married Aisha at the age of 6 when she was 6 years old?
Yeah, that's fine.
Was it a good thing?
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, because he.
Come on, bro. You as a teenager, you're agreeing that it's okay to marry. Come on.
Yeah, because the consummation happened when you went to.
He consummated at 9, but he married her at 6. So like we know that nobody who has not yet reached puberty is okay for marriage. And even if society is doing it, has society have normalized it.
To society for this.
But even if society, even if society or people are normalizing it, it's okay back in the days, doesn't mean it's morally okay. Like
I don't,
what?
I don't want that equality criteria.
So do you think do you think it's morally okay for? It was morally good thing that he married a 60-year-old.
It's morally good things. Yeah, so under Islam it would be a morally good thing because for one, the consummation happened
At 9.
and-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at
I'm talking
9,
about I'm talking about the marriage. I'm talking about the marriage.
Yeah,
not
the marriage
the-
is fine because the marriage is going to work differently. As
But
in-
don't you think she is a 6-year-old girl? She's there's more to life. There's you want to enjoy yourself, play with your dolls and toys, and spend time with family. Then get ready for marriage with the 54-year-old man or like an older man at the age of 6.
Yeah, so we can see from hadith that she said that she herself she chose the prophet, right?
Yeah.
So-
Why did he show that? Because Muhammad had a dream, and that this dream was revealed to Aisha's dad. And then this wedding was agreed because they thought Muhammad was a high prophet, that this was okay. But again, like just because somebody's giving you a revelation, if God is giving you a revelation to marry a 6-year-old, can it really be from God? Is God gonna really tell you to marry a 6-year-old?
Yeah, because it's going to be like divine reasonings, which we may not know unless they're revealed by the Quran or Hadith. But there wouldn't be an issue because like within this, right, internally within the religion, there would have been an issue because for one, how marriage works is not like how current marriages work. When you get married, there's going to be like a contract, there's going to be some other things, and within that afterwards.
Is Muhammad meant to be the example of this day and age?
Yeah.
Okay, so can I do a nikah? Can I make a nikah with a 6-year-old?
Can you get a contract with a 6-year-old?
Yeah, or 13-year-old?
Yeah, so you can get a contract with a 6-year-old because of Quran.
Come on, bro.
5:4.
Come on, bro.
I'll explain to you what I mean.
Bro, like, are you like, this is what this. Just be honest with yourself. Like, I cannot.
I wouldn't water down their religion just to say like, oh, there's no child marriage. Because for one, right, we have
Like, child marriage should never be allowed. If I had a daughter who was 6-year-old,
Yeah.
right, and I see a man who was receiving revelation saying go and marry the 6-year-old, I would condemn him and I would say he was a false prophet. I don't know what's going on with Aisha's dad, like agreeing with this. And I don't even.
I'll tell you what I mean.
I don't even know why Muhammad agreed with this child. I don't even know why Muhammad himself agreed with this child marriage. Like, can you please explain to me why?
If you talk about internally, right? For one, you're gonna see like that Allah is gonna get. We know that Allah has divine wisdom. That sometimes He command things which we may not understand.
But what's
or
the
know.
wisdom of marrying a 6-year-old?
Yeah, we wouldn't understand unless He tells us, right? So the wisdom, we can get some implications of it, but it's not going to be the true thing. So we can infer. So for one,
You know,
we can
there
infer-
are certain things in the Islamic law, in Islam, right? I think it was adoption, where certain laws were abrogated or they were cut off, right? They were taken away,
Some abrogation,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So why wasn't the child marriage thing? Why wasn't that taken away? If it's meant to be the example of this day and age, why
I'm
wasn't?
not saying it should be taken away. I'm saying
But it's not. We know morally it's not a good thing to marry a young girl, so it should have been taken away.
Under what moral grounding would that be?
Right? Come on, man.
I don't
Using
want
logic,
logic.
common sense, seeing what's happening to.
Yeah, no, but under
Use
what
it.
moral grounding?
Looking at reports of when childs are marrying older men and like how it messes up the mentality, their
So
conscience, their
that's gonna be
physical
like-
being.
Would that be like meeting the criteria of consummation or no?
No, marriage. Even marrying, getting somebody,
so how?
that still counts as grooming. Even like making a contract with a young girl, that still counts as grooming. Because a girl is meant to be somebody who is meant to be playing with her friends, playing with toys, going to school, learning, educating, growing in their body, and then they should be thinking about marriage, right? If Muhammad's meant to be the example of this day and age, right? That law should be for this day and age as well. So if Muhammad's meant to be the example of this day and age, that law should have been abrogated, that marriage law. Like how the law, I think, adoption, that was abrogated, that was taken away, if I'm right. So that's what I'm saying. Why wasn't child marriage? Why wasn't that abrogated?
Okay, I'll explain to you clearly. So within these times, right, we know from the Quran that you have to obey the laws of the land, right? So say like you live in like a secular country, say like you live in like a UK,
Yeah.
and say like you should get married, like you can get married like 18 plus, say 16 plus, etc. Then you should be following that law. But say you're like in a Muslim country where there's no like age of consent, rather it's based on the criteria given for consummation and marriage, right? We're going to be looking at like at the madhabs and the Sharia and how they expect you to get married. So how the marriage would work is that you get a contract and the girl can back out of the contract at any time she wants, right? It's her choice. She there's consent involved in this, and we know from.
Does a woman have a right to marry who them? Does a woman, can they marry without the mahrams? Can they marry without a mahram?
I'm not too sure what that means. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
what
so
that means.
it says in your sources, I'm pretty sure in sources where it says that women, they have to have a mahram with them, right? So they have to have a man with them. We also see in
Oh,
the,
okay,
yeah,
yeah,
so
okay.
we also see in the other Islam. other Islamic laws where it says how in other Islamic laws how there has to be a mahram occupying them to Hajj, to Umrah. So a man has to obviously has authority over the woman, right? And they have a final say over the woman. So now use your mind, right? If you had a daughter, right, and you see a man telling you, I am receiving revelations from God about marrying a 13-year-old girl, right? What do you think of that man?
So if this is a hypothetical.
Yeah, hypothetical.
Yeah. So within this hypothetical, if a man claims to have to get revelation from God, first of all, that needs to be like a proof that he did get the revelation. So let's say that there's eyewitnesses that say that he did miracles, or that you see him doing miracles, and that the prophet of God is true.
Yeah.
And say that my daughter is
yeah. So what? Let's say he was a known prophet. He was doing miracles. He was doing wonders. And then he comes along with he was doing all these like he was a well-known prophet. He had companions. He's a true prophet.
Okay.
And then he comes along saying, "Marry your 6-year-old." What do you think of that man?
Yeah, say like he's been doing all this, right? He's been doing all these miracles and
all these signs.
And it's a true prophet, right?
Yeah.
And say that my daughter, I've been teaching her on how to get on how marriage works, on how stuff works, right? And there's this man that wants to marry her, and he says that there's going to be divine wisdom, but it can't be understood.
But what's the divine? What's
yeah,
you're talking about divine wisdom. What is the divine wisdom about marrying a 6-year-old? Like, what's the divine wisdom behind that?
Wisdom. We wouldn't know because if Allah tells us.
But isn't the Quran everything should be revealed in the Quran? Like even like everything's revealed in clear context. So where is the wisdom behind this?
What do you mean clear context?
The Quran is meant to be the dominant scriptures. It's meant to be the Muhammad. So the Hakim. So but where is it in the Quran or the Hadith? Because the Hadith is mentioned a lot of things about how to divorce your wives, about the law of the land, about slavery. It's meant to be a lot of things about this, about how to treat your slave. So what's the divine wisdom about marrying a 6-year-old? Why we should do it?
Yeah, we wouldn't know the divine wisdom.
So it's not mentioned in the Quran.
Unless like told. Like unless it's told, it's not a necessary. It's not needed for us to be known unless he tells us otherwise. So if you don't know about the divine wisdom or what he does, then we don't need to know, right? But we know if it's a true religion, then whatever Allah does will be good if it's in line with His nature, right?
You know, Jesus himself said, right? If anybody hurts a young child, it'd be better if a chains be hung around the neck. So Christ himself has a love for children, right? Christ clearly himself says, right? Blessed are the children, right? For the angels see angels see the Father's face in heaven.
Okay, so you're saying that if a child is hurt, then that would be bad, right?
No. So we can clearly see that Christ had a care for children, right? But in Islam, you're allowed to groom children because a 6-year-old having a contract, that is grooming. If she has no say in that, right? And Muhammad is receiving this dream, and then Aisha's dad is saying, yes, marry him, right? That's known as grooming.
We wouldn't take that. We wouldn't take that to be like. We wouldn't take Muslim values to be within Islam because internally we would just reject those values because it's not something that is said in the Quran or revealed in the Quran. So what do you not class that? Would you not class? Okay, would you? I wouldn't take Western values for. If I had a 13-year-old here, right, and I say, oh, come marry me, would you class that as grooming? That would be grooming. So let's say this was done with like there's no criteria, there's nothing involved in this. It's like just marry me. That would be classified as that. But within Islam, there's Islam. This thing like it's always Islam. Yeah. So within Islam, there's going to be criteria for consummation, right? I'm talking about marriage, nikah, contract. Yeah, so it's going to be criteria for marriage, meaning that you have to, I think you have to be able to consent. And we know from a lot of like tafsirs or shars that talk about. But what can a child consent to? Because when your father is telling you to do something, you're in submission to your father. You have to agree to it. As a child, as a normal child, right? As a child who's 6-year-old, right? Normally, right? They are, and when their father or mother tells them to do something, they have to do it because they are in submission to the owners of the household. Like with Aisha, the reason why I'm not saying she didn't agree with it, the reason why she probably agreed with it is because her father told her to do so, and she had to be in submission to him. Talks about her talking about her parents, but she said that she made a choice on her own. Yeah, of course. Yeah. But why did she make the choice on her own? It's because Muhammad received the dream. This dream was given to Muhammad's friend, who's Aisha's dad, and then Aisha heard this, and then she agreed with it. Yeah, but for once, we know from the marriage of Aisha, right, throughout her life, she loved the Prophet. We've seen it
Because
happen.
as a normal child, you're going to agree with everything your parents told you to do. Even if you don't, even if you yourself don't know if this is right and wrong, you're still going to agree with it because they're your parents and you think that they're your guardians, they're your angels. You're going to agree with them with whatever you say. So I'm trying to say to you that this marriage that Aisha and Muhammad did, this was grooming, because whether she had a say or not, right? If a man comes to you, two older men, and they say you have to marry this man, and she's not of age, she's 6 years old, that is grooming. Simple as that.
What classifies that?
But I take care.